Welcome to Innovation Pulse, your quick, no-nonsense update covering the latest in startups and entrepreneurship news. First, we will cover the latest news. Reflection AI's Asimov tool streamlines code comprehension. Thinking Machines Lab raises billions pre-product, and Cognition acquires Windsurf for competitive edge. After this, we'll dive deep into Perplexity's groundbreaking Comet browser and its potential to revolutionize internet interactions. Stay tuned. Reflection AI has launched Asimov, a groundbreaking tool designed to enhance code comprehension for engineering teams. Asimov addresses a critical challenge. While engineers spend most of their time understanding existing code, rather than writing new code, there hasn't been a tool specifically focused on this until now. Asimov helps engineers navigate complex code bases and captures the intricate business logic within them. What sets Asimov apart is its ability to act as a single source of truth. For engineering knowledge, it ingests entire code bases, architectural documents, GitHub threads, and chat histories, effectively storing and recalling important information, much like a seasoned team member with deep tribal knowledge. Asimov's memory system allows team-wide knowledge sharing and can be updated by engineers, ensuring that valuable insights aren't lost over time. Utilizing a multi-agent architecture, Asimov excels in retrieving and synthesizing information from large code bases, providing coherent answers to user queries. This makes it a preferred choice over existing tools like Cursor Ask and Claude Code. Asimov's potential to evolve with Reflection, AI's own models, promises to enhance its performance further, making it an indispensable tool for engineering teams. Now, we're about to explore their ambitious goals. Thinking Machines Lab, an AI startup founded by Mira Murati, a former OpenAI executive, has raised approximately $2 billion at a valuation of $12 billion. The funding round was led by Andreessen Horowitz, highlighting Murati's strong influence in attracting investors, despite the company being launched only in February and having neither revenue nor products yet. The startup is set to release its first product soon, which will feature a significant open-source component beneficial for researchers and startups developing custom models. Thinking Machines aims to build AI systems that are safer, more reliable, and applicable to a broader range of applications than competitors. Nearly two-thirds of its team consists of former OpenAI employees. Murati's departure from OpenAI and subsequent launch of Thinking Machines mirrors a trend where ex-OpenAI executives like Dario Amodei and Ilya Sutskever have also launched their own AI ventures. Investor interest in AI startups remains robust, contributing significantly to a surge in U.S. startup funding in 2025. Cognition, the startup behind the AI coding agent Devon, has acquired AI coding startup Windsurf. This acquisition follows Google's high-profile reverse acqui-hire that took Windsurf's CEO and key leaders, leaving the rest of the team behind. The deal between Cognition and Windsurf was rapidly assembled and finalized within a weekend. Cognition is acquiring Windsurf's intellectual property and AI-powered IDE, along with all employees not hired by Google. Windsurf had reached $82 million in annualized recurring revenue with 350 enterprise customers and hundreds of thousands of daily active users. Cognition plans to integrate Windsurf's capabilities into its own offerings, which already include Devon, an AI agent designed to automate coding tasks. This strategic acquisition enhances Cognition's ability to compete with giants like OpenAI and Anthropic by offering both AI coding agents and an AI-powered IDE. Windsurf's team will continue developing their IDE in the short term, and the company will regain access to Anthropic's Claude AI models, which were previously cut off. With this acquisition, Cognition strengthens its position in the rapidly evolving AI coding landscape. And now, pivot our discussion towards the main entrepreneurship topic.
Welcome back to Innovation Pulse. I'm Donna, and today I'm joined by my brilliant co-host Yakov Lasker, who just sent me the wildest article about someone claiming people will pay $2,000 for a single AI prompt. Yakov, please tell me you're not about to justify spending $2,000 on asking ChatGPT a question.
Oh, this is so much bigger than ChatGPT, Donna. We're talking about Perplexity's CEO, basically declaring war on Google Chrome, while simultaneously trying to reinvent what a web browser even is. And yeah, that $2,000 prompt? He's dead serious about it.
Wait, hold up. Perplexity? Aren't they that search engine that's supposed to compete with Google? Now they're making browsers?
Exactly, they just launched something called Comet, and here's the wild part. It's not just a browser with AI bolted on. The CEO, Aravind Srinivas, thinks the browser is actually the secret weapon for building AI agents that can do real work. Like, he's talking about agents that can recruit Stanford graduates who worked at Anthropic, draft personalized emails to all of them, and manage the entire follow-up process.
Okay, that actually sounds terrifying and amazing at the same time. But I'm stuck on something. Why does it have to be a browser? Can't AI agents just, connect to apps directly?
This is where it gets fascinating. So there's this whole technical battle happening behind the scenes. You've got people working on something called MCP, Model Context Protocol, which is basically trying to let AI talk directly to every app and service. But Srinivas thinks that's backwards.
How so?
Think about it this way. When you want to book a flight, you don't call the airline's API. You go to their website, you're already logged in, you can see everything. And if something goes wrong, you can just take over and fix it. The browser is this environment we've spent decades perfecting for humans to interact with digital services.
Oh, so instead of building some complex system where AI has to authenticate with hundreds of different services, it just uses the browser the same way you and I do, with all our accounts already logged in and accessible.
Exactly. And here's the clever part. When you switch from Chrome to Comet, it imports all your logins, extensions, everything with one click. So suddenly, the AI has access to your Gmail, your LinkedIn, your Amazon account, but it's all happening on your computer, not on Perplexity's servers.
That's actually really smart from a privacy standpoint. But wait, if I'm understanding this correctly, they've basically built a version of Chrome with an AI assistant sitting next to every web page?
That's the sidecar feature. But here's where it gets wild. Srinivas shared examples of people using it to unsubscribe from spam emails, create Facebook ads, even control smart home devices. One person used it to find the exact timestamp in a YouTube video where someone said something specific, instead of watching the whole thing.
Okay, that YouTube thing is actually brilliant. But I have to ask, if AI is just extracting the key information from websites, what happens to all the companies that spend millions making their websites beautiful and engaging? Are we just turning the entire web into a database?
Srinivas actually addressed this, and his answer surprised me. He thinks brands will become even more important, not less. Like, if you're The Verge, people will still want to know what The Verge thinks about something. But the way they get that information might change completely.
Hmm, I'm not entirely convinced. If an AI can just extract the key points from any article instantly, why would I ever actually visit the website? The business model of the web is built on people actually showing up and seeing ads.
And that's where things get really interesting. Srinivas made this pointed comment about how Google uses AI to figure out the perfect moment to show you ads on YouTube to maximize engagement time, while Perplexity is using AI to save your time by getting you exactly what you need. The incentives are completely different.
Oh, snap! That's a fundamental philosophical difference. Google makes money when you spend more time on the web, but Perplexity makes money when they save you time. That's actually kind of profound.
Right? And this is where that $2,000 prompt starts to make sense. If an AI agent can do 3 hours of recruiting work in 5 minutes and do it better than you could yourself, Suddenly, paying a premium for that kind of cognitive labor doesn't seem crazy.
I mean, people already pay consultants hundreds of dollars an hour. But I'm curious about the technical reality here. Has anyone actually gotten these AI agents to work reliably for complex tasks?
This is where Srinivas gets refreshingly honest. He admits Comet is still pretty brittle. The interviewer, Alex Heath, tried to get it to list everyone who follows him on Twitter that works at Meta, and it only found one person when there should have been many more. But Srinivas's bet is that the next generation of reasoning models, GPT-5, Claude 4.5, will get them over the reliability hump.
So we're still in the demo magic phase, but the vision is compelling enough that people are willing to deal with the bugs?
Exactly. And there's this interesting chicken and egg problem. The product needs to be reliable enough that people will use it, but it also needs enough users to improve through real-world testing. Right now, Comet is invite-only and limited to their 200 a month subscribers.
$200 a month for a browser?
I know, it sounds insane. But think about it. If this thing can actually do the work of a virtual assistant, suddenly $200 a month seems reasonable. That's less than hiring someone for even a few hours a week.
Fair point. But what about the competition? I can't imagine Google is just going to let some startup eat Chrome's lunch.
Well, here's the plot twist. There are rumors that OpenAI is building their own browser too. And get this, the rumors started circulating just 2 hours after Perplexity announced Comet. Coincidence? Probably not.
Oh, that's fascinating. So we might be looking at a whole new browser war. But this time, it's not about speed or features. It's about which AI can best automate your digital life.
And there's another wild card in play. The Department of Justice might force Google to spin off Chrome. If that happens, it could completely reset the browser market and give startups like Perplexity a real shot at gaining market share.
Wait, that would be huge. Chrome has something like 65% market share. If Google suddenly can't bundle it with Android or pay billions to make it the default browser everywhere.
Exactly. Suddenly there's room for innovation again. But here's what I find most intriguing. Srinivas thinks the browser is actually bigger than the chatbot race. He argues that ChatGPT has basically won the conversational AI market, but the browser is where the real value will be created.
That's a bold claim. Why does he think that?
Because the browser is where you can build true end-to-end workflows. A chatbot can help you write an email, but a browser-based AI can draft the email, send it, track responses, schedule follow-up meetings, and manage the entire relationship over time. It's the difference between a tool and an assistant.
I'm starting to see the vision, but I keep coming back to this learning curve issue. When I first got an iPhone, it was intuitive. I could figure out how to use it without reading a manual. But with these AI agents, it sounds like you need to completely rethink how you interact with your computer.
Srinivas acknowledged this. He said even he has trouble remembering to use the AI features instead of doing things the old way. But he thinks it'll follow the same adoption curve as ChatGPT, confusing at first, then suddenly indispensable for early adopters and eventually mainstream.
Speaking of adoption, what about mobile? Most people do more browsing on their phones than their computers these days.
They're planning mobile apps, but here's the challenge. On iOS, every browser has to use Apple's WebKit engine. So Comet on iPhone won't actually be able to use the full Chromium engine they've built all their AI features on top of. It's another example of how the platform owners control the innovation.
That's such a good point. Apple and Google have these invisible choke points that most people never think about. If Apple decides they don't like AI browsers, they can basically kill them on mobile.
And that brings us to the business strategy. Perplexity has 30 to 40 million users for their search product, so they're hoping to convert some of those people to try the browser. But the real prize would be getting device manufacturers to make Comet the default browser, which Srinivas admits is nearly impossible because of Google's existing deals.
So they're basically hoping to grow through word of mouth and hope that regulatory action opens up more opportunities?
Pretty much. Though there was this interesting tidbit about Apple potentially being interested. Eddie Q apparently said nice things about Perplexity during the Google trial, and Srinivas would love to work with Apple on Safari or Siri integration.
That would be a game changer. Apple's been struggling with AI compared to Google and OpenAI. A partnership with Perplexity could give them a real edge, especially on the search side.
And speaking of partnerships, did you catch the part about Mark Zuckerberg trying to recruit Srinivas to Meta? Apparently, Zuck is paying nine-figure compensation packages to top AI researchers.
9 figures? That's like $100 million plus. No wonder there's this talent war happening. But here's what I don't understand. If you're Perplexity and you're trying to build a sustainable business, how do you compete with those kinds of offers?
Srinivas made an interesting observation. He noticed that Anthropic researchers aren't getting poached as much as others. His theory is that money alone isn't enough. You need mission alignment and the feeling that you're working on something meaningful that's actually succeeding.
That makes sense. If you're working on cutting-edge AI research and your company is growing fast and your stock options are appreciating, why leave for even more money at a place where you might not have the same impact?
Exactly. And Perplexity seems to be hitting their growth targets. Srinivas mentioned they want to IPO around 2028 or 2029, after hitting $1 billion in revenue and achieving profitability.
$1 billion in revenue? That seems aggressive for a company that's essentially giving away most of their product for free right now.
But this is where the browser strategy could really pay off. If they can get millions of people using Comet daily, and if those AI agents actually become reliable enough for complex tasks, then usage-based pricing starts to make sense. Maybe you don't pay $200 a month, but you pay $20 for that one recruiting task that would have taken you 3 hours.
You know what? That actually sounds reasonable. I've definitely spent $20 on less valuable things than saving 3 hours of work, but it assumes the reliability gets there.
Which brings us back to the fundamental bet Perplexity is making, that the next generation of AI models will be dramatically better at multi-step reasoning and task completion. If they're right, we might be looking at a completely different internet experience in just a few years.
So what should our listeners be watching for? What are the early signs that this vision is actually happening?
I'd say watch for 3 things. First, how quickly the reliability improves. Can these AI agents actually complete complex tasks without human intervention? Second, how other companies respond, especially Google and Apple. And third, whether people actually change their behavior. Do they start using AI assistants for tasks they currently do manually?
And maybe also watch your own behavior. Are you finding yourself asking ChatGPT or other AI tools to help with things you used to just Google? Because that's probably the first step toward the kind of AI-powered browsing Perplexity is betting on.
Great point. The shift is already happening in small ways. And if Srinivas is right, those small changes are just the beginning of a much bigger transformation in how we interact with information and get things done online.
Well, I know I'm definitely curious to try Comet when it becomes more widely available. Though I have to admit, the idea of an AI watching everything I do online is still a little creepy, even if it's supposed to be private.
Fair enough. But remember, these AI assistants are only seeing what you explicitly ask them to help with. It's not like they're constantly monitoring everything. They're more like having a really smart assistant who only pays attention when you tap them on the shoulder.
That's a reassuring way to think about it. All right, so next time you're frustrated by how long it takes to research something online or book a complicated trip, remember that there might be AI agents just around the corner that could do all that work for you. The question is whether you'll be willing to trust them and pay for them.
And whether the companies building them can solve the reliability puzzle before the competition heats up too much. This is definitely a space worth watching closely.
Thanks for diving into this with me, Yakov. Until next time, keep your pulse on innovation.
See you next week, everyone. We've explored how reflection AI is streamlining code comprehension with Asimov and delved into the tech wave stirred by Perplexity's Comet browser, promising a new way to engage with digital services through integrated AI. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and colleagues so they can also stay updated on the latest news and gain powerful insights. Stay tuned for more updates.